Hey everybody, and welcome back to another XPlane 11 stream. Today we're going to be showing you around some freeware. This is the rendition of Casement Aerodrome Baldonnel. It's just in South Dublin. It's the headquarters of the Irish AirCorps. And this scenery was made by a user or developer called User42. We're using some ortho tiles just for the satellite imagery, but in relation to the hangars, the main square, and we got some water tanks and fuel tanks all around as well. So its location is just it's about 7 minutes flying, I think, just south of Dublin Airport, southwest. You have all these areas here. Then you'd have Rathcoole off in the distance. Green Oak Business Park, Aerodrome Business Park, Newcastle up this neck of the woods here. Around the golf course here is Grange Castle. Dundalkin looking out to one side. Palmerstown away there in the distance. These lights just up here, they represent the M50 heading into Dublin. Dublin Airport's over here. So with so many places to visit in XPlane, so many different new places to explore, being Irish, I love showing off some of the Irish scenery, which is always great fun to fly around. So disappear music. So looking around the airfield in Baldonnel, the level of detail here is quite stunning. It's the use of this airfield is for military purposes. As I said, it's operated by the Irish AirCorps, primarily they do the maritime patrol out of here, they do some search and rescue, they do ministerial air transport, flying air politicians around the place. The air ambulance stuff is pretty special. They have a Learjet. They also use the CASA aircraft, which are actually modelled in this, which are down here. The main square itself coming into Baldonnel, they used to hold air shows here many years ago, but they still do family days and open days every now and again, and there's a fairly decent museum you can visit also. So these buildings, they're fairly well represented on the main square. Like you have the AirCorps headquarters, and then you have the various offices and other departments, I suppose, in the camp itself. With the hangars, these are the original hangars. Hangar 4, 3, 2, 1. This new one was built, I think, in the late 90s, early 2000s. And that was primarily to house, I think, the likes of the CASAs. I think the PC-9s were there as well. So we'll have a look around. It's all free, which is fantastic. Ortho 4XP is free. So you can really get a fairly decent rendition of local airports in XPlane. So I thought I'd just show off this one. No, I didn't make it, but it's fantastic. I know this area fairly well, so I can tell you it's quite accurate. So the aircraft we're flying in is from Carenado. It's the Beechcraft B200 XPlane 11 version. I had this in XPlane 10 and I thought it was, up to date and everything else, and I only realised that they had a newer version for XPlane 11, and this was recently updated as well. I think it's 1.1. But the livery, this is made by a guy on the XPlane org, on the forums. This aircraft in particular is of huge importance. Baldonnel, or Casement Aerodrome, it was named after Roger Casement. You can Google that and get all your history for it. But this aircraft, the King Air 200, it's named the Fitz. This did a recreation of a very famous flight that took off out of Baldonnel back in 1928, and it was the first transatlantic east to west flight in history. And it was a German crew, and they had an Irishman by the name of James Fitzmaurice as the navigator. So on the 75th anniversary, the AirCorps actually reflew the flight along this aircraft, and they had I think it was a TBM 700, from Germany that came over, and they did the flight together. You can Google that; it's pretty cool. And as I said, it was the first transatlantic east to west flight. So they touched down in a place called Greenlee in Canada, and it took them something like 36 or 37 hours. Very cool, interesting stuff. And that was without any sort of the mod cons that we'd have today. They literally were flying by, I think it was the North Star, and then when that disappeared, they had a compass, and they were trying to figure out how it deviates, and they got a little bit lost, but they managed to touch down and complete the flight. On completion of it, there was a big parade in New York. I think when they got back to Ireland, they were given the key to Dublin. But it's all very interesting. You can Google it. The flight, the aircraft, back in 1928 was called the Bremen. And the actual aircraft was restored, and it's actually sitting in Bremen in Germany. I think it's owned by Ford. But really, really interesting stuff. So the AirCorps, on the 75th anniversary of the flight, called this aircraft the Fitz, and this recreated the flight. So I thought it was appropriate that we'd jump into this. So, showing you off the aerodrome, or the airfield. So the level of detail here is quite stunning, considering it is freeware. Now you might say, yeah, the texturing on the buildings could be updated, but because it's a military installation, it's access to this place isn't as straightforward, especially if you want to take photographs of it. So hats off to the designer who managed to do all of this. Cool fuel truck. There's a lot of talk, or there was at least a lot of talk, they wanted to make Baldonnel into a commercial airport. And it is capable of some fairly substantial aircraft. Like, you can get 737s in here, no problem. I think a 757 touched down here a couple of years back as well. So plenty of space with the runways. So we'll jump up here just to give you kind of an overall view. So with the runways, the main one, I suppose, or the longest one, being 29er along here. There's a radar station here. The nickname of this was the golf ball, because it looks like a giant golf ball. It's not unlike it, looks a little bit different. The areas around here then, this building up here I think was originally called Airmotive, then it became Lufthansa Technik, and I think the idea behind this, many years ago, they would fly in engines and aircraft parts, they would work on them in these factories and push them back out again. So there was a road or a rail they used to take them from the ramp into the factory and then back out again. So again, the use of ortho is fantastic here. So what we'll do, we'll hop in to our little plane here, taxi and take off, and we'll do a couple of laps, and we'll change the time of day. I'll leave the link in the description below, just where you can pick up this airport, and the repaint for the Carenado B200. So it's all pretty cool stuff. So the beach. We have, we're kind of spoiled for choice lately in XPlane with the Airfoil Labs King Air, but I just said I'd jump into this. So to get this thing started, if I can remember, get this guy up out the way. I'll just set all these, because when I turn on the batteries, rather than just turning on all the panel lights, we can custom set them. Floodlights can stay off. Alright, make this guy disappear. So, battery on. All that clicking and switching and stuff is mainly due to the Cytec panels that I have. So, beacon light, strobes, get our nav lights on here as well. Our fuel cutoff can go to low idle. Just make sure that's right. It is. Perhaps go to full. Have a quick look around. There's the Casas off here in the distance. Pretty cool looking. I'd love to see them in XPlane. If someone can make, there is a CASA I think in it, but it's, you know, I'd love to see the high fidelity renditions of it. Anyway, I digress. So engine ignition for the right, and we'll go for a start on the right. Pretty sure that's how you blow up an engine. I think you should be starting it, then you add the fuel. Let's hope they forgive us. Good start on the left. Good start on the right. Auto feather to arm. Bring on our avionics. Our recognition lights can come on. Pitos on. We'll jump across here and just get our bleed airs on. It's not picking up the gens. Turn these guys on. Close up a little window. Cancel you. Alrighty, jump outside now just to check out the sounds. Cool. If I'm not mistaken, I think the air traffic control call sign for the Irish Air Corps is just Irish. I could be wrong, so if you guys know any better, do leave it in the comments below. So what we're going to do, we're going to tap the brakes, release the park and brake, and we're going to start a taxi here. While we're doing so, I want to get our taxi lights on. Have pens here, I don't know why. So nice reflections here just with the ground environments that we have here as well. Some nice static objects around. Various bits and bobs for fuel. They have the tower fairly well modelled. Fire station. And as I said, the new hangars. Well, they were new when I was there. The night lighting is actually quite good here as well. It's very accurate. So what we'll do, we'll spin this guy here and just park. I got to show you the nighttime lighting. So you have nice spill lights here on the main ramp itself, stuff around the tower, the hangars, and the buildings are nicely lit up here as well. So all in all, it's fantastic. Okay, we'll continue our taxi on out. We're going to go for runway 29 of departure. Set our flaps for takeoff. This aircraft itself, just to be Murphy's Law now, we'll jump back in here and we'll probably go off the runway. But it's what you would expect from Carenado. Really nice model work, textures, everything looks fantastic. And it has the nice goodies you can play with here as well. No one saw that. So yeah, it's pretty cool. There's so many freeware airports, airfields in XPlane, and some of them have great coverage and some of them almost none at all. So if you guys are on the fence about picking something up, or if you're interested in certain areas, just let me know and I'd be happy to download it and give it a shot for you. Performance wise, in Dublin, it depends. Like, I have Aerosoft's Dublin airport. The frames here, I usually get 40 to 50 regardless of any aircraft that I'm in. I've tested this aircraft in other places that I'm 60 to 70 frames, no problem. Got landing lights on here, strobes are on. But what I found, just whatever it is in Dublin, frames are always somewhere between kind of the mid 30s to high 40s. I don't know why. I remember in FSX and it was just a disaster, like 20 frames, if that. So it's probably all us confused people from Dublin trying to figure out how things work in the world of XPlane or flight simulation. Now, this windmill thingy, there is one over there. It's not as proud as that. It's actually a lot smaller. But hey, at least it's there, I suppose. Right, so we'll turn right here, get ourselves lined up. We can bring our mixture up to high mixture. Okay, quick check. So lights are on, flaps are set, and let's head on out. Power set, airspeed alive. It's 100 knots. And rotate. Positive rate, gear up. Bring our flaps in over 300 feet. Now what we're going to do, we're just going to fly kind of straight out, swing around to the right, come up over Dublin Bay, back in over the city, and we'll take it in for a landing. I flew up this way in real life, just in a Cessna, closer to Weston, but when you're using ortho, it's absolutely fantastic. The weather is brought to us by Ultra Weather XP, running 2.5. I have to say, really like it. It was in the last video I used as well. I showed a couple of settings for it, but it's absolutely stunning. So as you can see, just here the airport in the background as we're leaving it. Seamless integration with the ortho tiles. Our torque here, bring RPM down, mixture down a smidgen. As the sun is rising here over Dublin. Just beneath us then, as you can see, that would be Weston Aerodrome. Just down there. We'll bank a bit so you guys can see it. Just where the mouse is there now. That'd be Weston. So you can see how close they are. Now, over this side you're fine for flying, but you got to keep an eye on Dublin Airport. If you look at the charts, Baldonnel is restricted airspace. Its minimum altitudes have to be enforced. Continue our turn here. You can see Dublin there, just kind of slightly to our right. And what we'll do, I might I'll bring the lighting back. Yeah, just to show you the interior lights inside in the aircraft. So it looks stunning, absolutely stunning in here. And what do you guys think? I think it's nice, highly immersive, and with the clouds where they are and the sky textures from Ultraweather XP, absolutely stunning. Now, if this is real world, we wouldn't be able to do this. We'd have to get all sorts of transitions and clearances just to come over to Dublin Airport, but for the sake of the video and the sim, no one's going to mind. Continue our climb here. We're going to aim for about 10,000 feet, break through some of these clouds. The lighting is fantastic, and in fairness, it's very good as well in the in fact it's excellent as well in the Airfoil Labs version, the 350. So we've Dublin Airport appearing just beneath us. What we'll do now, once we clear all this, we're going to spin around to the right, come back in over Dublin City, which is down this way. That's the Liffey, River Liffey, comes all the way back in. And then we'll go for a landing on runway 23 back at Baldonnel. That's just nice looking, isn't it? So excluding Dublin Airport, which is directly beneath us, everything else on the ground is that's stock XPlane stuff. Now granted, there's a bit of a tweak with Ultraweather XP. I know that the lights can be changed, but there's our 2-3 behind us. So get ourselves leveled off here, and we can start making our way back to Baldonnel. Dublin Port just down there. So get our light back up into daytime, just to make it really difficult to find the airport. Still have this shimmering on the ground textures just with the clouds that I use, but I'm sure we'll figure that out sometime. So steep descent, bring our speed right back. Knots, just coming down past 6,000 feet. 2,500 feet per minute. Fairly steep. Start leveling off. Over Palmerstown here. A lot of the flights, if you wanted to recreate them in XPlane, a lot what the AirCorps do would be air ambulance, so a lot of flights would be kind of Baldonnel over to English airports. Could be Birmingham, Manchester, even London. So it will be handy to get a few of them. Yeah, we're way too fast, so we'll just do a low flyover. As you can see, coming in over Grange Castle, so we have the golf course to our front here, but you can see a fairly well laid out Baldonnel. So you have the square up on the right hand side, the hangars in behind it, the ramp, and then onto the runways. Alright. Should power back in here. Get an airfield camera. So we'll bug on out again. The climb rate in this thing is a bit heading out over the Dublin, then Wicklow Mountains. Out to our right here then, that's looking out on towards Blessington Lakes. Really nice part of the country if you get the chance to ramble out there. Yeah, we'll probably go for 2.9er. So that's one of the huge things about XPlane, or any flight sim for that matter. It's where to go flying and where you want to explore, and if you're lucky and there is scenery built for that area, outside of Ortho, of course, you're really lucky. So there's a new Freeware Dublin Airport after coming out as well. I must have a look at it. Just over the nose there is Dunleary Harbour. That's Dublin Port then. Get ourselves lined up here. It's fantastic when you see Ortho like that, isn't it? Absolutely stunning. That shimmering, yeah, it's a bit of a headache, but it's not a game breaker. Like, it's there. I'd rather it wouldn't be there. Don't get me wrong, but it's not a huge problem. Thousand feet over Dublin. I have to say it's looking very pretty. Okay, get ourselves lined up here for 2-3. Landing gear coming down. There's a bit of wind there, so I said we'll try and do a challenging landing. Not one of our better ones, but we're down. Bring our flaps back in here. Bring our landing lights off. No harm, it's supposed to show the entire airport. The only thing I will say is there's no perimeter, there's no fence or wall or nothing. In the real world, there's perimeter fencing, but again, that's not like a big to do. So engines back to low idle. As our mouse is jumping all over the shop. Taxiing on back here now. So there are some very nice static objects parked up and around, including the fire trucks. Although I think this guy's just a little bit too close. We shouldn't hit him. I can't watch. Yeah, no, I can't watch. It's fine, it's fine. Alright, so we'll park it back here. Alrighty, that'll do. Parking brake can come on. Taxi lights off, pitos off. Engine 2 coming back, avionics off. And engine 1 coming back. So I have to say it's It's a pretty cool airport. So guys, that's it. A bit of freeware. Not much structure to the stream, I just wanted to show you. Casement Aerodrome Baldonnel. The link is in the description below. I hope you guys liked the video. Look after yourselves. Until the next time, take care of each other, and I'll see you soon.